Hi, my name is Maya, and today I'm going to be showing you an upper body yoga sequence. To start, I'm going to use some stretches, just moving my arms back and forth and getting ready to hold my body up. Next, I'll stretch out my legs, just moving back and forth in butterfly position, and then coming down. I'll slowly lift back up and get ready for my first pose, which is thread the needle. To start, I'm going to begin in child's pose, just to stretch my body a little bit more, and then come up, take one of your arms, here's my right, and thread it through. To modify this, you can lower your hips to your heels and focus on the shoulder stretch, or rest your head on your shoulder on the floor. I'm going to continue to hold this pose for a few more seconds, and then I will switch sides. This transition can be made through tabletop, or if you would like an extra stretch, go back down into child's pose before switching sides. Come back up, and in tabletop, I'm going to push up into downward dog. To modify, drop your elbows to the floor and clasp your hands, or lift one leg off the ground. Here, I'm resting on my knees and then pushing back up. Remember that it's okay to take breaks from poses that may be too challenging on parts of your body. Once I come down, I'm going to go into child's pose again. This will also help me transition into my next pose, where I begin on the floor and push up into cobra pose. Cobra pose can be modified by propping up on your forearms, or deepened by pressing your arms until they are straight with your shoulder blades to your chest. Come back down if you need a breather, and push back up. Come into tabletop and then child's pose again to rest your body and to give yourself a little bit of an extra stretch. And now we're moving on to cow pose. Arch your back, and to modify, you may use a block between or under your glutes, and to deepen, you can lift your knees off the mat. Here, I'm doing a combination of cat and cow to get that extra upper body stretch that we're aiming for today. Continue going back and forth, making sure that you're breathing in and out. And then we will go into balancing tabletop. One leg and one arm opposite each other come out, and then you can switch sides. To modify, you can place a blanket under your knees, and to deepen, you can reach your arm and leg out to the side instead of straight back. I'm going to continue going back and forth, breathing in and out each time I switch. And once I'm ready, I'm going to go back into child's pose before I go into my next pose. Come back up, sit on your hand or on your knees in hero pose, and then lift the knees and go into camel pose. I am modifying here by putting my hands on my hips. To deepen, you can bring one hand to rest on the back of your head if you are not grabbing your ankles. I'm going to continue doing this a couple of times, breathing in and out as I go. And I will come back down into tabletop and into child's pose It is important that you stretch after this, especially if there are back problems. Once you come back up, you're going to move back down and go into bow pose. To modify this, you can lift one leg instead of two, or to deepen, you can take hold of the ankles instead of the feet. I can only hold it for a few seconds at a time, and I will come back down to rest. And then I will come into child's pose. Again, it's very important to rest your body whenever you feel that you need it. And our next transition is a bit harder, but you're going to come up into downward dog from tabletop and step or hop forward into forward fold. Now, to modify, you can bend your knees, or to deepen, you can straighten your legs and make sure that your hands are flat on the floor. We're coming up into mountain pose, and then we will come back down to stretch. Coming up again, making sure we're really opening our chest, and then beginning in triangle pose. Now this is just a good stretch one. We're going to do reverse triangle in a minute, but I wanted to get my body ready for reverse triangle, where you're placing opposite hand on opposite leg. To modify this, you can place your hand on your thigh or put your upper arm down, and to deepen, your hand can come to the ground. Once again, we will come to forward fold, and then we're going to go back into downward dog, go into tabletop, and go into child's pose for that rest. Then we're going to come back up into tabletop and start with sitting in crisscross and moving one of your legs up into half lord of the fishes. Make sure you're looking over your adjacent shoulder, and to modify this, you can bring your bent knee towards your chest, and to deepen, you can straighten that leg and your feet will stay closer to your hip. Do it on both sides. Make sure that you're stretching your body as much as possible. And finally, I will come back down into that butterfly stretch, making sure that I stretch out all the muscles that I've worked today. I'll flex my fingertips and I'll go back down and come up and lengthen my spine. And we are all done for today. Thank you so much for watching.